The
Go.
movie that I watched was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, starring now Academy Award winner Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. The movie was released in 2003 and a hit at the box office as both the leading characters and many of the supporting cast were accomplished and well known actors at the time. The basic premise of the storyline is wrapped around two simultaneous storylines for the main characters. Benjamin Barry, who is played by Matthew McConaughey, is an advertising executive and ladies' man who, to win a big campaign, bets that he can make a woman fall in love with him in 10 days. Andy Anderson, played by Kate Hudson, covers to how-to stories for a trendy magazine and is assigned to write an article on how to lose a guy in 10 days. They meet in a bar shortly after the bet is made, but neither know what the other is doing. That is the reason why this movie is so comical, because in the end, each of them tolerate behavior that they would normally never tolerate in a real relationship. Each of them can't believe the other person is actually tolerating their outrageous behavior, but it makes sense to the audience because we know the characters have no idea what the other person is up to. Their individual commitment to winning the big game they were ultimately playing became less and less important as they actually begin to fall in love with each other, and neither can understand why. However, the more the other person doesn't give up, the more determined they are to irritate the other, which is extremely funny. One of the hallmarks of romantic comedy that the movie How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days showcases well is aggravation. With both of the main characters, Ben and Andy try to trick the other person into something without their knowledge is by nature aggravating. Ben is trying to get Andy to fall in love with him, and her job is to make Ben not want to date her, both after 10 days. Ben can't figure out why Andy is acting so strange, irritating, while Andy can't believe that Ben keeps asking her out after the horrible things that she does to him. Each express their aggravation to their friends while maintaining composure, and their game faces when around each other. The second hallmark of a romantic comedy that this movie illustrates so well is sophistication and slapstick. Near the end of the movie, it is revealed to Andy that Ben has been betting on her to fall in love with him in 10 days, and the same evening, Ben finds out that Annie has been writing an article about how she has tried to get Ben to date her again after 10 days. Both are very angry with each other and are at a formal gala together as a couple. Ben calls Andy up on stage to sing a song with the legendary songwriter Marvin Hamlish, and both end up on stage singing the wrong words of the song and making a joke about something that should be serious. The third hallmark is that females are strong-willed, and the character of Andy Anderson is the epitome, as she never gives up until she wins her challenge. Based on these two hallmarks, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is actually very similar to the movie. It happened one night, especially when it came to aggravation. And it happened one night, the main characters end up in an unexpected situation that leads to their eventual love for each other as well. Ellie is an heiress, played by Claude Colbert, who runs away from her controlling father because he won't let her live with the king, whom she married against her father's approval. While she flees, she runs into a man named Peter, who agrees to keep her identity secret while helping her hide from her father, who is looking for her. They couldn't be more different and offend and drive each other crazy throughout the course of mishap after mishap. However, after all the unfortunate adventures they go through together, each of them learn more about each other and realize they actually like and eventually love each other. As for sophistication and slapstick, It Happened One Night is also similar. The scene where they were at the campground and they staged an outrageous and comical argument as if they were husband and wife to evade the cops, whom her father is sent to search for her. Absurd and yet relatable, they realized they actually had silly fun despite the seriousness of the situation. If I could change one thing about this movie, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, I would try and change the premise altogether. Despite it being very funny, the bet of each of them has to win is actually demeaning to the other person, and in today's times, that would not be a box office hit. At least with It Happened One Night, even though the main characters irritated each other, they were just trying to help each other, and it still leads to a happy ending.